This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Money Monday with Foster Financial, where we provide you with holistic financial advice with Caleb Doane, their Vice President. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so we're continuing this conversation about end-of-year planning because it's December and there's so much to get done besides Christmas shopping, of course.
Right, yeah, which I'm very behind on, by the way.
But the finances are on tack because this year you want to talk about a little bit of pre-gaming for next year when it comes to increasing the contributions. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so, well, one, the limit that somebody can contribute is increasing a little bit in 2026. So for 2025, the limit that you could contribute to the 401k was $23,500.
Okay.
That's bumping up to $24,500. And then if you're over 50 years old, that catch-up that you can contribute is bumping up a little bit. It used to be $7,500, now it's bumping up to $8,000. So if somebody was contributing, 15% last year and they were getting really close to the max over the course of the year, if they want to max it out, they might have to increase their contribution a little bit. So they might have to bump it up to 16 or 17% to now max it out for 2026. And even if somebody isn't maxing it out, it's still a good time to start thinking for next year, hey, can I afford to increase my contributions a little bit? Is that going to put me in a better situation for retirement?
And so your team really does work directly with the client to try to massage out this budget, right? And to see the actual financial planning if people are able to contribute more and in what ways it would be less impactful. So talk to me a little bit about the strategy that you really like to deploy when figuring these solutions out.
Yeah, I mean, we like to come to an exact percentage that the client needs to be contributing to reach their goals. And so they'll come to us and they'll say, hey, I really want to retire at 65 years old. And so we'll talk to them and say, all right, well, let's identify how much we think we're going to need to spend every single year in retirement. When are you going to need to put a new roof on the house? When are you going to need to buy new cars? How often do you buy new vehicles? What do you need for your typical monthly expenses? When does the mortgage drop off? All of that kind of stuff. So we identify that and then determine how much money they need to have when they retire. And then we can identify, all right, what percentage do you need to contribute right now to get to that retirement goal? I think a lot of times people, kind of guess and check when it comes to this. They're like, hey, I kind of heard that my neighbor was contributing 10%, and so I figured that'd be roughly a good idea to contribute. And at the end of the day, even if you and your neighbor make the same amount of money, are targeting the same age for retirement, even spend the same amount in a given month, if your neighbor has a pension and you don't have a pension, or if there are other, maybe there's an inheritance or something for your neighbor, but maybe not as much for you, it can completely change how much you need to contribute. So it's a really good idea to get a financial plan and really determine how much you need to contribute. Yeah,
because it's like, oh my goodness, when you think about contributing to your 401k, there are so many more benefits than contributing to like a savings account. So what benefits would you highlight to really inform people of the importance of a 401k?
Yeah, probably the two biggest ones would be, one, it can actually be invested and grow in the stock market. And then a second is the actual tax savings there. So whether you're contributing to the 401k pre-tax or Roth, both of them have certain tax benefits that you're not getting if you're taking the money out and just putting it into a savings account. We still want clients to have a nice emergency fund that's available to cover those expenses that come up. But that's one of the things that we analyze and determine how much they should actually be contributing. There are some people that even come to us and we're like, hey, you could actually back off your contributions a little bit. You're on track for retirement, and unless you want to retire even earlier than what you're anticipating, you could actually decrease contributions. So there's a lot of ways that we can kind of custom tailor that for the client, but it's much better to have clarity and confidence in the number that you're contributing as opposed to guessing and checking.
So what is the biggest misconception that you see when you talk to clients and they're trying to figure out if they can even afford to contribute or not? Like, what are some things that you're like, no, that's a myth, or yes, I can help you through that problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest misconceptions when we identify a client's budget to help determine how much they can contribute, I think a lot of times clients maybe think that their expenses are going to decrease more than what they really are in retirement. And so, we'll take a look and they'll say, yeah, I think I can live off of, $5,000 a month in retirement. That should be plenty. And then we take a look at their take-home income right now and we're like, well, you're bringing home $7,000 a month right now, and it looks like it's all being spent. And so are we going to reduce expenses by $2,000 in retirement, or should we reduce them now, or where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And so we really like to identify how much somebody needs, how much they can contribute to the retirement account right now. Because I don't ever want a client to be surprised when we get to retirement and we start sending them $5,000 a month and they're like, oh, this isn't enough.
Right.
So we like to do all that planning far ahead, far in advance, and if we need to increase contributions now, then we can do that to avoid that bad surprise later.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're thinking on behalf of the client.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their phone number and their website listed below. They do offer complimentary consultations, so you can figure out all of this planning from the jump, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.